Maybe yeah, there he is on the top there. The signal for David. I don't know. Next. Ah. Oh.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see everybody here today. My name is Richard Clark, and been attending KUC for about 3 years now. My family and I have been coming for about 2-3 years, and we became members last year and are very happy to be members of this church and have this community, to be a part of in all of its wonderful ways. And today our minister, Rowan Van Ness, is away from the pulpit, and a reminder that she is on maternity leave until February 1st. We wish her well, and until that time we are very happy and fortunate to have other folks stepping in to lead our services, and today we are very happy to have Andy Johnson and Rebecca McCoy leading our worship service today. So they are going to be leading, and we thank them for that. Also want to make a reminder that we've been having new folks. We had a number of new folks coming to services, and our ambassador today, our official ambassador, is Wynn Sargent from the membership group, and also just a reminder from membership in general that we can all play the part of ambassadors when there are when we have multiple new people who come, to take the initiative and introduce yourselves and be willing to fill that role if the official ambassador is swamped with new people. So now I'd like to just invite you to take a look at the back of the order of service, and we will recite KUUC's mission statement today. It's it's on the back, a little near halfway down. And our mission statement is: the people of KUUC are committed to actively creating compassionate community and working for a fair and peaceful world. A reminder to please silence your cell phones, but that you do not have to silence your children, whose noises are always welcome in our sanctuary. Once again, I say welcome. May you find joy in this hour, a message worth hearing, and many good reasons to join us again.
Good morning. So, little story about this service is we had one speaker, and then we had another speaker. The second speaker on Tuesday emailed and said, sorry, something's come up, I can't do it. So I messaged Rebecca, my co-chair for the worship committee, and said, ouch, darn. So Rebecca and I have actually put this service together. We had it finished Wednesday. So if anything goes wrong, it's because of that. The other thing I just want to mention is there's a box down here for donations for the community kitchen in Keene, and probably the most useful things that could go in there are gift cards from Market Basket or Hannaford's or wherever you shop. Would be very helpful to get them, and also maybe a check that they can use to buy foods in bulk. Our opening words today are "We Gather to Remember" by Nicole McCay. We gather to remember those who could not grow old, and those forced to grow old long before their time. We gather to mourn and grieve with one another all of our losses, the stories, the loved ones, and the futures that could have been. We gather to do the hard work of facing the difficult realities of our present and our past. Where there is conflict, violence, war, and hatred, we gather to hold space for silence. As we try to make meaning of our history, let us to help us work for peace and justice today. We gather to rekindle our source of hope for our future by recognizing in one another our shared humanity as we join in a concerted commitment for a better tomorrow. As Lindsay comes up to light our chalice with the twins, please join us in our words in the order of service. Aww. All together now. Aww. The big candle. We kindle this flame to remind ourselves of the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Our first hymn is number 54. We can all relate today. Now the light is less. And Barbara Bryce is going to come up and read a fabulous story.
Is this? No. Sherry, help. Yeah, it's on. It's excellent. I'd like to invite all the kids to please come up, and anyone young at heart, and have a seat on the rug for our story for all ages. And maybe I should bring that too. Hi. Others? Come on. Whoop. Come on. Hey. Excellent. Great. So I have a question for everybody to start with. Who here has grandparents? We all have grandparents, right? Yeah, because we all have parents, because that's how we're born. And our parents have to have parents, and those are our grandparents, and our grandparents had to have parents. And does anybody know what our grandparents' parents are called? Annie. Excellent, great grandparents. And it goes on and on and on. Now, many of us get to spend time with our grandparents. We maybe visit with them. Maybe they're helping take care of us. Maybe we live with them. Maybe they come for holidays or sleepovers, or we go to their house for sleepovers. And it's a wonderful thing to spend time with our grandparents. Now, for many of the older people here today, they're no longer able to spend time with their grandparents because their grandparents are no longer alive. Yeah. So, question for you guys. How do we stay close to the people that we love who are no longer alive? Annie. The Deus Muertos, can you say something about that? The Day of the Dead, which was yesterday, right? A time to remember people who have died. Remember. Other ways that we keep people close in our heart. Any ideas? Yeah? Well, remembering, I think, is really key because we hold our love for them in our hearts. We remember them with our thoughts, and we often tell stories about them. So today, our story is about grandparents. Okay? So, it was written by one of the most famous authors in New Hampshire, Tommy DePaola. And you may have read some stories by him. He had a whole series of stories about a woman named Stregonona, who was like the grandmother for a whole village. Yeah. So I want to ask, has anybody here ever met or seen Tommy DePaola in person? Yeah, some people have, because he would go to visit schools and libraries and read his books. He also would draw the pictures for many of his books. So Tommy DePaola lived to be 85 years old, which is pretty good. But before he was that old, when he was a much younger man, he wrote a story about his grandmothers, and that's the story we're going to read today. Yes. So there are two things I'd like you to keep in mind while we read this story. One is that he was writing about a time from a long time ago, a lot of years ago. So some of the pictures are pretty old-fashioned in the story. The second part is that there's a sad part of this book, but we will get through that together. Nana Upstairs and Nana Downstairs, Story and Pictures by Tommy DePaola. I'm showing a picture of him with his grandmothers. When Tommy was a little boy, he had a grandmother and a great-grandmother. He loved them both very much. He and his family would go to visit every Sunday afternoon. His grandmother always seemed to be standing by the big black stove in the kitchen. His great-grandmother was always in bed upstairs because she was 94 years old. So Tommy called them Nana Downstairs and Nana Upstairs. Almost every Sunday was the same. Tommy would run into the house, say hello to his grandfather, Tom, and Nana downstairs, and then go up the back stairway to the bedroom where Nana upstairs was. "Get some candy," Nana upstairs would say, and he would open the lid of the sewing box on the dresser, and there would be candy mints. Once Nana downstairs came into the bedroom and helped Nana upstairs to the big Morris chair and tied her in so she wouldn't fall out. "Why will Nana upstairs fall out?" Tommy asked. "Because she is 94 years old." Nana downstairs said. "I'm 4 years old," Tommy said. "Tie me in a chair too." Nana upstairs told him, wait a minute, I missed one. So every Sunday after he found the candy mints in the sewing box on the dresser, Nana downstairs would come up the back stairway and tie Nana upstairs and Tommy in their chairs, and then they would eat their candy and talk. Nana upstairs told him about the little people. "Watch out for the fresh one with a red feather in his hat. He plays with matches," she said. "I will," said Tommy. "There he is," she said, "over by the brush and comb. See him?" Tommy nodded. When Nana downstairs had finished her work by the big black stove and baked a cake to eat before Tommy went home, she would come back upstairs. "Now," Nana downstairs would say, as she untied Tommy from his chair, "we must all take our naps." After their naps, Nana downstairs would comb out Nana upstairs' beautiful silver white hair. Then Nana downstairs would comb and brush her own hair, and she would twist her hair and pin it on the top of her head. "Now make the cow's tail," Tommy would say. And for those of you who can't see the picture, that's that long hair before it gets pinned. One time, Tommy's older brother came into the bedroom and saw Nana upstairs with her hair all down around her shoulders, and he ran away. "She looks like a witch," he said. "She does not," said Tommy. "She's beautiful." "Time for ice cream," shouted Grandfather Tom, and Tommy and his brother went with him, and sometimes their father and their Uncle Charles, down to the ice cream store. There are lots of sweets in this story. When they got back, it was time for Nana upstairs to have supper, and Tommy would help carry the tray of milk and crackers up the back stairway. Once Tommy's father took movies of the whole family. He took movies of Nana downstairs and Nana upstairs, and Tommy stood in the middle. Okay, take a deep breath. One morning, when Tommy woke up at his own house, his mother came in to talk to him. "Nana upstairs died last night," she said. "What's died?" Tommy asked. "Died means that Nana upstairs won't be here anymore," Mother answered. They went straight to Tom and Nana downstairs' house, even though it wasn't Sunday. Tommy ran up the back stairway. Before he'd even said hello, he ran into Nana upstairs' room. The bed was empty. Tommy began to cry. "Won't she ever come back?" he asked. "No, dear," Mother said softly, "except in your memory. She will come back in your memory whenever you think about her." From then on, he called Nana downstairs just plain Nana. A few nights later, Tommy woke up and looked out his bedroom window at the stars. All of a sudden, a star fell through the sky. He got up and ran to his mother and father's bedroom. "I just saw a falling star," he said. "Perhaps that was a kiss from Nana upstairs," said Mother. A long time later, when Tommy had grown up, Nana downstairs was old and in bed, just like Nana upstairs. Then she died too. And one night, when he looked out his bedroom window, Tommy saw another star fall through the sky. "Now you are both Nana upstairs," he thought. Thank you so much. You know, by reading this story, we also just remembered Tommy DePaola. Isn't that cool? Time to be sung off to class. Thank you.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We take this moment to reflect on our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. If you would like, you may come forward and light a candle. Put your first candle in the center and then work around. You may line up on either side. Come forward as you need to.
I have a remembrance. I'm Carl. And I have a remembrance which is both a joy and a sorrow. A friend of mine, Stephen Chambers, passed away a couple of weeks ago. He helped me in my journey to sobriety. He was involved with this church in a peripheral way. He played bass. He's a fellow bass player. He did play bass at some of our events. He also slept in our porches occasionally and hid his things outside by the bicycle rack and whatnot. He was a complicated, brilliant person who I will miss, but I'm grateful that I knew him.
My name is Gwen, and I have a joy that last weekend we took, my husband and I and one of our friends all went up to Colebrook and we brought the 2 dogs, and it was Remy's very first vacation and she had the best time, and I discovered that after 3 days of doing stuff, she finally got tired. So, yes. Pierre was like, a day and a half. But we had a great time, so that's what matters.
I'm Jim Peel. Since September 24th, we have gone into Boston every weekday to Brigham and Women's Hospital so that I could get radiation treatment for prostate cancer. Tomorrow is the last treatment, so one day more.
Good morning. My name's Carol, and I just want to share a little joy that I had an opportunity to spend some time with my mom on Friday. She's 98, and it is absolutely delightful to be with her. And my son and his wife came as well, so it was the sandwich generation, but it was fabulous.
Hi, my name is Betsy, and I'm here with a very grateful heart because my son Ben has taken over much of the management of my daughter Laura's finances and coordination with her home provider and all the details with the state, et cetera, et cetera. And he's really stepped up to the plate and is allowing me to back off from things that are getting more and more complicated for me to handle and more appropriate for a younger person. So I'm very, very grateful for my son, Ben.
I'm Marcus. I'm just glad to live in such a supportive community as Keene. With the state of the world, remembering my parents would have been married 67 years this year. They've been gone for a few years, and I've been able to do some traveling, get some perspective on the world, but I guess my real joy is just that Keene is such a nice island of understanding somehow in this wild world where people are getting blown up out of the water in Nicaragua and so many things. So anyway, I'm glad Keene is such an open place.
So I'm Andy, and I do have a great joy. I live in Alstead. I'm on the Conservation Commission, and a few weeks ago, I encountered this group in Henniker that's trying to start up a community care and services planning board, which I just found out that the state approved small towns or any town to do this type of work. So I'm gathering 3 to 9 people on this that was approved by the select board, gave me permission to start this up pending a warrant article this spring. So pretty sure it's going to get through because it's not going to cost any money. And I'm very delighted. And I'm going to light one last candle for those who have not been able to come up and give their joy and concern. So we have a responsive reading coming up. It's number 583 in your gray hymnal. The young dead soldiers do not speak. They have a silence that speaks for them at night and when the clock counts. They say, we They say we have done what we could, but until it is finished, it is not done. They say we have given our lives, but until it is finished, no one can know what our lives take. They say our deaths are not ours, they are yours. They will mean what you make them. They say whether our lives or our deaths were for peace and woe or for nothing, we cannot say. It is you who say this. We were young, they say. We have died. Remember us.
Now it's time for our offering. Give what you will for the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that meant so much to those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much to people you will never know. Give what you can, for you are a generous people. Dave and Donna are going to sing Simple Gifts.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down simplicity is gained. To bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be my delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where I ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be my delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
Now we'll say the offering dedication. We dedicate these gifts in service of our mission to actively create compassionate community and to work for a fair and peaceful world.
Our prayer and meditation today is a meditation on the power of we by Alondria Williams. Put your feet down because we're about to do embodiment. Close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out. When you hear the word liberation, liberatory spirit, liberatory life, liberatory possibilities, what does that conjure up in your soul? When you hear we are liberating force, spirit, light and love, what does that conjure in your spirit? When you hear that we have the power to transform the world around us, what does that mean in your bones? When you hear we are the people that we have been waiting for, we are. And how does that feel in your blood? We are the light, we are the wisdom, we are the ancestors, we are those yet to come. How do we fully hold that in all of that in ourselves? You can open your eyes now and look at the people around you. Go out and organize, and let us just take a moment of silence. After the moment of silence, we're going to sing hymn number 162.
Good morning. So I'm going to start with a story, and my apologies in advance. It involves an episode of violence, so it's a little dark at the beginning. But the episode and the story I'm going to tell you probably captures my meaning and what I mean in the most starkest way possible. In July 1941, the Catholics of the Polish village of Jedwabne murdered the Jewish population. They rounded up their Jewish neighbors, shooting those who tried to flee. Some women drowned themselves to escape rape. The Jews were assembled in the town square, humiliated, and then herded into a barn where they were burned alive. There were only a few survivors. Despite long-standing anti-Semitism in Poland, the people of Jedwabne divided relatively evenly between Jews and Christians and had lived together for centuries. They were neighbors, carrying out their lives side by side and working together. These events took place in a specific historical context. In 1939, Russians had occupied the Polish village of Jedwabne as part of a deal between Hitler and Stalin that partitioned Poland. By 1941, Nazi Germany invaded and occupied eastern Poland, including Jedwabne. They immediately began a campaign against the Jewish population. The Nazis apparently gave the German-installed municipal council 24 hours to do whatever they wanted, and certainly the Catholic Poles could not have acted without their assent. But Poles did carry out the massacre. Similar atrocities took place in surrounding villages. In the aftermath of the Nazi regime, the story was framed as a German atrocity to the extent that it was discussed at all. The Catholic villagers were afraid to talk about what had happened because they were implicated. In addition to the massacre, they had occupied the Jewish homes and taken their property. Selective memory was the way they protected themselves. The few Jewish survivors could not speak out because they were afraid. In fact, Polish Jews who returned to their villages in 1945 were often murdered. Poles who had sheltered Jews feared for their lives. Children were not taught about the massacre, or if they were, it was framed in terms of German responsibility, not something that their parents and grandparents had done. At the national level, the story of what happened in Poland under the Nazis became a tale of German brutality and Polish heroism and suffering. The truth about the Polish share of responsibility was buried. Only decades later did Polish historian Jan Gross uncover what had happened at Jedwabne and in surrounding villages. In 2001, when Gross published his book, Neighbors, it was a sensation. The people of Jedwabne discovered that the stories told by their families were untrue. Poles found that their sense of national identity was in question. Gross's research became the subject of political debate in a Poland that had recently thrown off communism. The controversy has continued to today as the Poles debate their national identity and the stories they tell themselves about who they are. I'm an historian, but this sermon is not meant to be a history lecture. My concern lies in the aftermath, in the way that memory was framed and reframed, and in how an entire nation selectively remembered or forgot its history. My interest is informed by my research on memory and religious violence. Although history deals with the past, I find that the interaction of history and memory has resonance for understanding the dynamics of events in this world. Poland is hardly the only country that has covered up its past. I could give you a dozen other examples, which happily I will not do today. But currently in our own country, very divergent versions of American history and our future stand in opposition to one another. The lessons from the story of Jedwabne get at personal dynamics, the stories we tell about ourselves, and the way memory and remembering are crucial to our lives and relationships. The most helpful explanation I have found for how memory works comes from the British historian J. Winter. Winter addresses how memory is both biological and social. He argues that initially, events are imprinted neurologically, especially when the experience has elicited strong emotions. The initial imprint on the brain, however, is reshaped by subsequent experiences. That experience determines what we need from memory and the meanings we ascribe to it. We can also think of memories being overlaid by successive ones, much as archaeological layers form over time. Each subsequent experience makes us reevaluate the past. Think of how we as people and societies change and how we find new meanings for our memories and our histories. Note that the neurological imprint and the subsequent processing of memory are not the same as the events, nor are they history. The memories held by individuals and societies are not an exact replica of the past, nor is history, as written by historians, the exact truth of earlier events. Historians work with a methodology and a set of ethics to put together their best version of written history based on evidence. They also debate its meaning. The questions they ask are shaped by concerns arising from their own time period. New questions take the historians to the archives, where they discover new evidence that might previously not have been known or considered important. If this was not the case, we would have no need for historians, because history would just be a set of knowable and unchangeable facts and meanings. The story would always be the same. In short, the exact truth of the past is unknowable, but it can be as accurate and honest as we can manage. We rehearse our memories in the form of stories that shape our identities. The stories we tell about ourselves are part of who we are. Memories impact how we react to subsequent events and people in our lives. Our memories coexist with contradiction. Sometimes we tell a story about ourselves in one way, in a different context, or with different people. We alter our narrative about ourselves and our experiences. Hence, this process of rehearsing our stories shapes our relationships. It also allows us to celebrate and to grieve. It allows us to commemorate past events and the lives of those important to us. Societies create stories about themselves, and these form a collective identity that is more than the sum total of individual memories. This narrative becomes central to our story, to the story a nation tells about itself. In our country, we have a story about democracy, about our values, about how we came to be as a nation by overthrowing the tyranny of King George. This was an official story based on a collective memory that defined how we identify as Americans. Over that time, that story has been contested by the memories of individuals and groups, by those who were for a long time left out: Blacks, women, the LGBTQ+ community, Native Americans, and so on. These stories came to the fore due to our shared values of equality and freedom. The inclusion of those groups began to change the narrative, but not completely. As we know, that progress in how Americans remember their past and see ourselves is being challenged. Because we have freedom of speech, however, under threat, we still can debate our past, what it means, and the different versions of it. In authoritarian societies, as in Poland after World War II, and in other places, no debate about the past or national identity is allowed. By creating an official narrative that cannot be challenged, what is normal becomes distorted, and interpersonal relationships change as citizens assess whom they can trust. People in repressive societies are left with the widest possible gap between their individual memories of events and what the official narrative dictates. This is the danger today, that we will no longer be able to bring our individual stories about our experiences to the table, publicly, or even in our private relations. That not only our history, but the reality of our experiences will be jeopardized. And if our memories are in question, then our personalities and individual identities will be challenged too. November is a month for remembering. This weekend, Christians celebrate All Souls, All Saints, and in Mexico, the Day of the Dead. And on November 11, we remember those who died for our country. Let us remember the story about our values for which they died. November 26 is Trans Remembrance Day, which commemorates those who died due to gender-based violence. Let us remember them for their efforts to tell the truth about their identities. And Thanksgiving is about gratitude, our Soul Matters theme for the month. Without memory, we cannot know what we are grateful for, and indeed, that we need to continue to struggle to be allowed to remember honestly as individuals and as a country. Thank you. And we're going to sing hymn 162. Sorry, 121, thank you.
closing words today are Commitment by Dorothy Day. People say, what is the sense of our small effort? They cannot see that we must lay one brick at a time, take one step at a time. A pebble cast into a pond causes ripples that spread in all directions. Each of our own thoughts, words, and deeds is like that. No one has a right to sit down and feel hopeless. There's too much work to do. Go in peace and with a purpose. In our postlude, the chalice, yes. Sherry, can you come up and extinguish the chalice? Yeah. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts with the world until we are together again. And our postlude today is Don't Get Around Much Anymore by Duke Ellington.